In the bustling heart of Lagos, where the streets never slept and the scent of roasted corn mingled with the honk of danfos, there lived a man called Mofe. To many, he was nothing more than a madman, a barefoot wanderer with dreadlocked hair, always mumbling to himself, always laughing at invisible jokes. He made his home inside an old rusted dustbin behind a suya joint in Yaba. The suya man, Baba Chinedu, never chased him away, mostly because Mofe never caused any trouble. He just sat in the bin like it was a royal throne, poking out his head when someone passed by, grinning with teeth stained from groundnut shells. But what no one knew was that Mofe was not mad. He was Prince Ademola, first son of the Uni of Ife, and heir to one of the most respected traditional thrones in Nigeria. He had grown up in marble halls, fed by silver spoons, surrounded by advisors and expectations. Girls had always thrown themselves at him, smiling like angels but with eyes full of calculation. Every one of them wanted the crown, not the heart. So Ademola did something no one expected: he ran away. Not to London or Abuja, not to any place where he'd be recognized. He chose Lagos, the city that swallowed everyone. He paid a taxi driver he trusted to spread rumors of his madness and disappear him into the streets. Then he swapped his Igbada for torn trousers and a dirty Ankara shirt, and began to live among the people, right there behind Baba Chinedu's suya stand. Girls laughed at him every day. Yeah. See this one, oh? Prince of Dustbin. Auntie, make you go marry him nah, he fit be your destiny helper. They mocked him when he danced to music only he could hear. They laughed when he offered them crushed flowers from the gutter. Some even dared to pour water on him. But he never got angry. He only smiled, because each laugh, each insult, showed him what he needed to know: who was real, and who was pretending. One afternoon, as the sun burned hard on the concrete and the hawkers cried louder than ever, Mofe spotted her. She wore a simple yellow gown and rubber slippers. Her name was Amaka. She had just come from the market and her face was tired, but she still bent down and gave Mofe a bottle of water without flinching. "You day okay?" she asked him, her voice soft like warm Gary. "Sun don hammer you well today." Mofe blinked at her. He didn't speak. He never did, not unless he was alone. But he took the water and sipped it slowly, watching her with quiet eyes. She didn't laugh. She didn't flinch. And when he started humming an old Yoruba lullaby, she joined in. That was the beginning. Each day after that, she passed by and dropped something for him. A piece of puff-puff. A sachet of pure water. One day, she gave him a small comb. "Even mad people suppose find small," she said, laughing gently. Mofe took the comb like it was gold. He didn't use it, he couldn't break character, but he kept it hidden inside the dustbin like treasure. More days passed. More laughter from others. More kindness from Amaka. One rainy evening, she even shared her umbrella with him, standing beside his dustbin while water drenched the road. "You fit no day mad as people think," she said that day, not looking at him directly. "You just day watch us all." Mofe almost answered her. His throat burned with the truth. But he stopped himself. Not yet. He needed to be sure. And so, the days rolled into weeks, and the prince continued to live in the dustbin, and Lagos continued to roar around him like a restless god. One morning, before the sun had fully risen and the street sweepers had finished their sweeping, Amaka arrived earlier than usual. Her eyes looked puffed, like she hadn't slept well. She sat beside the dustbin without saying a word and pulled her knees close to her chest. Mofe watched her quietly. She didn't offer him anything that day, not bread, not water, not even a smile. She just sat there, staring at the puddles forming in front of her slippers. He leaned his head out of the dustbin and made a soft whimpering noise like a baby goat. It always made her laugh. But this time, she didn't even blink. "My mama day sick," she finally whispered. "Hospitals say we need over 200,000. Where I want see that kind money." Mofe blinked slowly. His heart twisted in a way it hadn't in a long time. He wanted to pull out his hidden phone and wire the money that minute. But no. That would break the test. Would she still be kind if she thought he was rich? Instead, he reached out his hand, slow and shaking, and placed it gently on hers. Amaka looked down, surprised. Then she smiled, but it was the kind that had sorrow in it. "Even you get pity," she said. "Nawa. The next day, she didn't come. Nor the next. By the third day, Mofe couldn't take it. He left the dustbin before dawn, went into a hidden alley, and cleaned himself up the best he could using water from a broken tap. Then he walked all the way to a cybercafe, borrowed a shirt from a boy selling second-hand clothes outside, and logged into an old private account he hadn't touched in months. He transferred 500,000 naira to a hospital in Surulere with a note attached, for Amaka's mother. From a friend in the dustbin. Then he went back to his throne and waited. By evening, she came. Running this time. Her wrapper flapping behind her. Her cheeks wet, but with joy. Mofe, she called. She'd never called him by name before. He didn't know how she learned it. She dropped beside the dustbin and held his hand tight. Somebody pay for everything. They say the money come with one weird note. You sabi anything about Am? He tilted his head and looked at her, then slowly shook his head like a confused man. She laughed, still crying. You dey do like say you know sabi anything, but you get secrets, abi. She rested her head on his shoulder. For the first time since he began the act, Mofe spoke clearly. I'm not mad, Amaka. She froze. What? I'm not mad. I'm hiding. He pulled something from deep inside the dustbin, a small royal emblem made of gold and sapphire. The seal of his family. He placed it in her hand. She stared at it. Not play be this. I wanted to find someone real. Someone who could see the men, not the crown. Amaka didn't speak for a long while. Then she let out a long, tired sigh. You mean say I've been feeding a prince puff-puff and pure water all this time? He chuckled softly. Best puff-puff I ever tasted. You dey craze. I know. She hit him lightly on the shoulder. Then again. Then she began to laugh and cry all at once. In that moment, in the middle of Lagos noise and smoke, under a flickering street lamp and beside an old suya stand, the prince and the girl sat beside a dustbin like it was a throne made of gold. Word began to spread, though not from Amaka and certainly not from Mofe. Baba Chinidu swore he saw the madmen enter a black SUV one night, driven by a man in native Agbada with an earpiece and the face of someone who knew power. One of the Suya boys told someone at the car wash, and by the end of the week, the entire Yaba market was buzzing. Una remember that madman way day live for dustbin near Chinidu joint. Ah. That one way day always sing like say choir day inside him head. Dem say na prince oh. Real prince. Lie. If not prince, why I'm day chop leftover bones like hungry cat. But the whispers turned into gasps when Mofe returned, not in rags, but in clean linen. He wore a simple white kaftan, no crown, no guards, no drama. He walked with quiet dignity, greeting every street trader by name. Some laughed, thinking it was a look-alike. Others stood frozen, mouths open, like they had seen a ghost. When he reached Baba Chinidu's stand, he bowed slightly. Thank you for not chasing me away, he said. Baba Chinidu, for the first time in 10 years, dropped his knife. My God. Then Mofe turned to Amaka, who stood at the same spot she always did, wearing the same yellow dress from that first day. You found me in the dust, he said. But you treated me like a man. Not a madman. Not a prince. Just human. Amaka's eyes blinked rapidly. So what now? Mofe smiled. Now, I leave the dustbin. But I don't leave you. The days that followed moved like music. Mofe didn't return to the palace immediately. He stayed in Lagos, quietly renting a flat near Amaka's family compound in Mushin. People called it madness. They said, this boy way suppose day sit for palace throne day follow girl day wash clothes outside. But Mofe didn't care. He'd spent so long surrounded by lies that he cherished every second of truth. Every Saturday, he helped Amaka fry akra for sale. Every Sunday, they visited her mother, now recovering and stronger than ever. The woman would look at him and shake her head. Nawa. Fine boy like you day fry akra. When I go tell people say my daughter's boyfriend day do. And Mofe would grin and reply, tell them I serve beans and truth. One day, while walking back from the market with baskets in hand, Amaka stopped suddenly. You know, say if you ask me to marry you now, I go say no. Mofe raised his brow, surprised. Why? Because I want you to ask me when you're just Mofe. Not Prince Ademola. Not the heir to Ife. Just the man who lived in a dustbin and sang like a radio with no battery. He dropped the basket and touched her hand. Then let me be that man, for as long as you want. And so the days stretched, filled with soft laughter, quiet moments, and deep understanding. Mofe never hid again. He was open, free, walking between two worlds, royalty and reality, with ease. But fate, like Lagos traffic, never moves in a straight line. One night, a black SUV returned to his street, headlights off, engine humming low. The palace had come calling. The SUV door opened slowly, and out stepped an older man dressed in deep purple agbada stitched with gold threads. Behind him were two guards, silent as shadows. But it was the way the street fell into silence that said more than anything else. Even the Malam who sold recharge cards paused his pricing. Mofe stood at the gate of the compound, barefoot, wearing a faded t-shirt and shorts. Amaka was beside him, holding a bowl of egusi soup they were just about to share. The man in purple took a long look at him before speaking. Ademola, my son. Have you forgotten who you are? Mofe didn't flinch. No, Baba. But I finally learned who I am. The Uni of Ife sighed deeply. He walked forward, his beads rattling like distant thunder. You left without word. You let rumors spread that you were lost, mad, dead. Your mother cried for weeks. The chiefs fought. The kingdom grew restless. I needed to see the world without the cushion of my name. And have you seen it now? Mofe looked around. At the quiet compound. At the cracked walls. At the woman standing beside him with worry in her eyes but strength in her spine. I have. And I found something the palace never gave me. Amaka tried to shift back, but he held her hand firm. The Uni's eyes softened as he looked at her. This must be the girl. Amaka bowed slightly, still clutching the bowl of soup. Good evening, sir. You knew who he was, yet you stayed. I didn't stay because of who he was. I stayed because of who he is. The Uni chuckled. You have a sharp tongue. I like that. He turned to his son. The council wants you back. They say it is time. The seat is waiting, and tradition does not pause for anyone, not even for love. Mofe's smile faded. But, the Uni added, you may bring your truth with you. If this girl is your heart, bring her. Let the palace know what it means to find royalty in dustbins. Amaka's eyes widened. You mean? I mean, if you will have him, the Uni said, looking at her, you will be our princess, not by birth, but by bravery. Mofe turned to Amaka, dropping the formality. It's not a test anymore. It's just a question. She didn't answer with words. She placed the bowl of soup on the ground and hugged him tight. Mofe laughed and lifted her off the floor as the neighbors peeked from windows and rooftops. The guards remained stone-faced, but even they seemed to breathe easier. Within a month, the streets of Lagos buzzed again, this time with music and celebration. Not the usual wedding noise, no. This one had suya, akara, palace drummers, and even danfo drivers yelling, "Na the dustbin prince-o. Him don find love." And when the wedding finally happened, it wasn't in the royal hall at first. It happened right there, in front of Baba Chinitu's stand, under the same flickering street lamp, with plastic chairs, borrowed canopies, and Amaka wearing her yellow dress one last time, just before the palace wrapped her in gold. The dustbin, now clean and repainted, stood beside the suya table like a monument. Not to madness, but to love that saw past crowns, titles, and torn clothes. A year passed. Lagos, ever restless, had moved on to newer gossip. The madman in the dustbin was now a legend, spoken about by traders during slow afternoons and told to children as a strange kind of fairy tale. If you see someone way look mad, treat them well. Oh, Ife be prince in disguise. But in the town of Ife, far from the yellow buses and hawkers of Yaba, a new kind of tradition bloomed. Prince Ademola was no longer just a symbol of royal lineage. He was a ruler with the dust of the streets in his spirit, who knew what hunger felt like, what real laughter sounded like, and what it meant to earn love without a crown. Amaka, now Princess Amaka, walked the palace grounds with her chin high and her slippers flat, refusing to trade comfort for pretense. She taught the palace cooks how to make akra the Lagos way. She insisted on market days where she could still touch tomatoes herself. The women of the court rolled their eyes at first, but soon they followed her example, tired of looking pretty but feeling empty. On the first anniversary of their wedding, Mofe led Amaka to a small garden he built at the back of the palace. Right in the center, surrounded by roses and hibiscus, stood a sculpture of a dustbin, smooth, golden, and shining under the sun. "This," he said, taking her hand, "is where everything began." She touched the lid of the statue and smiled. "I thought I was feeding a madman puff puff. And I thought I was being clever. Hiding from the world." They laughed. "Are you happy?" he asked. She nodded. "Happier than I ever imagined. But only because you let me see you when you were still hiding. Not many people give their real self like that." He drew her close, resting his forehead on hers. "You loved me in the dirt. Now I will love you with all my kingdom." And there, under the Nigerian sun, where royalty met the roadside, where tradition danced with truth, the dustbin prince and his queen wrote an ending that was simple, solid, and unforgettable. Not every crown is made of gold. Some are found in the most unlikely places, like a kind heart, or a broken dustbin behind a suya stand. Tell me what you feel about this story and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.